Welcome back to another episode of Streetpreneur Podcast, and today we're going to talk about life insurance. It's something that we all need, especially us entrepreneurs, small business owners, solopreneurs. We definitely need life insurance. And today I have a life insurance expert, and she's on the show today. She's going to tell us about term life, whole life, index life, universal life, and anything else that's insurance related. I would like to welcome to the show Mrs. Brianna Johnson. Did I say your name correctly?
Yes, Brianna Johnson, but some people call me Brianna Kayla, so whatever works best for you guys.
That's what we need to know. And she is the CEO of Legend Life Financial. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's also a breast cancer survivor. Welcome to Streetpreneur Podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yes, happy Friday.
I know. You look amazing.
Thank you.
Everything is lit. So
everything's lit. Everything is what it's supposed to be.
Yes. And we want to get into your background. Tell us a little bit about where you're from and just how did you end up on the road here in Atlanta?
Okay, well, a little bit about me. I'm born and raised from Chicago.
Okay.
I have a background of fashion, so I started out working in retail when I was about 14 years old, and that's where I quickly found out that I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So by the time I turned 22, I had 2 clothing stores, hair salons, and then I finally pivoted from retail when I was 24 years old, and that's how I got into the financial service industry.
Okay. And was 9 to 5 life, was that something that you knew that you were going into as going to work every day, that something's going to have to change? I want to do something different. I just don't want to make this regular 9 to 5 money and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's something. Did you see that early on?
I saw it really early on because I started.
Any entrepreneurs in your family or friends?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I saw it early on because I started working early on. I started my first job working when I was 14 years old. My father, he's an entrepreneur. He's been in the financial service industry since I was 4 years old. So I knew I wanted the financial freedom that he had and the time that he had, but I just didn't want to follow in his footsteps. I wanted to pave my own way. So that's when I got into fashion, but then that's when I quickly realized that I don't know, this industry, I don't want to be a starving artist. And my dad, he used to come to my clothing store and say, hey, Bree, like, how much money you making? I've been seeing these same outfits up here for weeks now, shaking out my register. Like, you really need to get licensed as an agent. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and give it a shot, because I knew if he could be successful in it, I could too, especially as being a woman. So then that's when I gave it a go, and I never looked back.
Oh, okay. And as far as getting that start in the industry, as far as your education is concerned, when did you get your license, or was it certifications you had to?
Yeah.
What was that formal training like to get you started in the life insurance agency?
Yeah, so you don't have to have a college degree or anything like that. It is certifications that you do have to get. I took an 8-hour class. They gave me a book and study material to get your life license. It's 6 chapters, and then you got to go take a state test that's about 80 questions, I believe. And when I say I went to go take that test and I had to park downtown, I'll never forget. And I didn't have enough money to pay for parking at that time. So I was literally in there crying because I had mad anxiety about taking the test. Like, this thing looks scary. I feel like I don't know none of the answers, but I knew it, and I passed it on the first try. Now I'm licensed in about 25 states, because you can become licensed wherever you want to. And I have thousands of clients across the country, and I'm just super grateful to be in this position to help our community, because I feel like our community is greatly underserved when it comes to education pertaining to life insurance. What we do is we tend to just go with policies that are given to us, or we'll go to the agents that our mom or our grandmothers had, and it's just like, I'll take what you give me. I don't even care what it is, or I'll just take enough to get buried. So I'm just trying to change people's mindsets around life insurance and push the importance of it, because it's super important.
Right.
For sure.
And let's talk about the generational wealth, creating generational wealth through insurance policies.
Absolutely.
I recently saw a clip of Kevin Hart as he was explaining about his mother's situation and how he received $100,000, him and his brother. Just tell us how having that life insurance policy can change someone's life. Just give us your opinion on it.
It can definitely change. I mean, just speaking on his clip, he said that $100,000, he never seen it before. He's like, our mama had money like that. She was holding out on us, and they thought they was the richest that they've ever been. And I feel like a lot of people, especially in our community, have never even been introduced to that amount of money. 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, right? So when you set up a life insurance policy and you're able to leave that behind for your loved ones, that can change everything, because now what can they do? They can invest into different things. Now they can fund their business, their dreams, and then they can grow and pass it down to their family members, right? Because what typically stops us from starting our business or our dreams is money. We working so hard at work, 60 to 80 hours per week. We don't have the time. We don't have the funds, because we robbing Peter to pay Paul, to pay rent, to put food on the table. And we just don't have, we don't know where to start. Because financial education has not been given to us. That's not something that's taught in school. So that's why I'm so passionate about this industry and helping people successfully navigate through the cash flow quadrant. Because when I became an entrepreneur, matter of fact, when I started working, that was my whole thing. When I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I wanted to figure out how can I successfully navigate through the cash flow quadrant so that I can stop being an employee and get over to the investor side of the house. So, because I knew that's where the big dogs was at, and I want to play with the big dogs on that playground.
I like that. Just kind of break down for people who don't know, which I'd be surprised, but a lot of people don't know, the differences in insurance policies from the term life, the whole life, and et cetera. Just give a brief breakdown.
Okay, so let's break it down and make it kindergarten simple, because that's what I pride myself on doing. There is a series of different policies that you can have. You can have policies running parallel to each other. You don't need to just settle in on one type of policy, right? So you can have term, all right? Term is the cheapest form of insurance that you can get. It's 20-year, 25-year, 30-year, and it's about $2 per thousand. It allows you to get a lot more coverage and pay a lot less in the monthly premium, so that you can protect everything that you're building while you're building up your retirement, while your kids are depending on your income, while you still got that mortgage that you need to, protect for the next 20 to 30 years until it's paid off. Then you have whole life, to where as though, all right, well, with term, the price changes after 20 to 25 or 30 years, right? Okay, so now when we switch over to whole life, you never have to worry about your premium changing. You can literally have that policy locked in at the age that you are right now. You don't have to look up and see a letter in the mail saying, all right, well, your premium is going to go up to $500. Do you still want to keep it, right? And then it also builds cash value. Now, you got a couple different types of whole life policies. You got your traditional whole life, right? Which the average rate of return is anywhere from 2 to 5%, and I call that the slow boat to China, and the cash value starts to build up after 2 to 3 years. But then what's become really, really popular and people are like really privy to right now is IULs, which is index universal life insurance policies. So with that, you're able to build cash value the first year and start borrowing it the first year if you dump enough money into it. And it's tied to the S&P 500 or a series of different indexes that runs parallel to how the market moves. And then there's typically a floor to it. So if the market dips down like it does, we understand how the market goes up and down. You don't have to worry about losing money because you're not fully vested into it like a 401k or a traditional retirement plan. But then when the market goes up, there's usually a cap from anywhere from 8 to 12%, just depending on what company you go with, to whereas though if the market goes boohoo crazy and it goes up 30%, you're not going to get the entire 30%. You're just going to get the cap. So those are the different type of policies that you can kind of navigate through. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm sure a lot of people needed that information.
Absolutely.
Make sure y'all take notes on everything she just said, because it's definitely beneficial. What type of policies do you recommend to your clients? I know everybody's situation is different. I'm sure a policy for someone with a lot of children is going to be different from someone who has a sickness or an illness. Just kind of, do you allow them to make that decision, or you just kind of lead them in the direction in which they should go based on their situation?
Yeah, so it really just depends on your situation. So what I like to do is a needs analysis to help you figure out, like, okay, let's figure out what type of life insurance will be best for you. And I forgot to mention final expense too, because you just said if you have an illness, final expense guarantee issue policy, anybody can get that type of policy. But there's typically a 2-year waiting period, to where as though you won't even have coverage for the first 2 years, because it's just like, okay, that's just how that that policy works. It's a risk factor. But when it comes to my clients, what I like to do is a needs analysis to really assess exactly how much coverage you need. So if you are young, married, you're working, you got children under the age of 18, you got a mortgage, you got a lot of debt, my thing is we need to get you a term life insurance policy with living benefits. Why is that? Well, because you need a lot more coverage to protect what your family is depending on for the next 20 to 30 years. I would never put you in a small whole life policy of like $50,000, $25,000, and $15,000, and your wife or your husband doesn't work. You got a $500,000 mortgage, and your kids are under the age of 18, and they're depending on your income, and you make $100,000 plus a year. That won't make sense, right? Yeah. So I always tailor insurance to what my clients' needs are, and not necessarily what they tell me that they need and want, because 9 times out of 10 you don't even know what's best for you. That's why your mom or your dad or your grandmother only left you $10,000 or $15,000. No, we're not doing that here. So that's why I created Legend Life Financial, because you can literally become a living legend for your family. You can really set your family up for generations to come if you do it right. You don't have to be a celebrity, Obama or nothing. Like, people will literally hang you on their wall for generations to come if we do it right. So that is my whole goal and purpose, to help people do it right. Stop settling for these $10,000, $15,000 policies. You need more like $500,000, a couple of million, especially when you're young and healthy. My first policy was $1 million for $35 a month. With living benefits. I started when I was 24. And I got that policy because I'm a solopreneur, but I know that one day I'm going to be a millionaire. And if something were to happen to me along my journey, I want to make sure that my family good and they can see the fruits of my labor, because life has a life of its own. We never know when a curveball is going to hit us. And a curveball definitely hit me. So my life insurance policy actually was good for me while I was alive, when I actually set it up for my family, because life insurance is a very selfless act. It's a love letter to your family, and I feel like everybody needs to write that properly, and that's what I'm here for.
Okay. Good. Definitely. I see your passion. I can feel your passion. I can feel your energy. No doubt about it. You don't have a choice.
Don't have a choice.
Now let's go back. Could you mention about the living... what was that you just said about
living benefits?
Yeah, the living benefits. Now, how do you feel about when you see people doing GoFundMes, when you see families out on the corner holding up a sign, grandmother just died, we don't have the money to bury her, or we don't have any health insurance, life insurance, we don't have anything. Is there a policy to help people in that situation?
I mean, once it's done, it's done. My thing is it makes me cringe, because I feel like we can do everything else, but then I also blame it on the lack of education, right? A lot of people don't even understand how cheap it is to actually get a policy. Like I mentioned, I got $1 million policy for $35 a month. We spend that, we throw it away. We throw it away, right? So my thing is just get the policy, set it and forget it. A lot of people in our community, we don't like to talk about death. It's like it's a taboo or a situation where if you talk about it, it's gonna come. Actually, death is a part of life. So it's very important to properly set yourself up, because with these living benefits, in the event of a critical, chronic, or terminal illness, you will be able to receive up to 90% of your policy while you're still alive. And I feel like it's so beneficial for solopreneurs, because critical, chronic, and terminal illnesses is the #1 cause of bankruptcies. Now you're faced to go through your entire retirement, go through your savings, you losing your house, you losing your job, you're just losing everything. So my job, I feel like, is very, very important, especially to stabilize our economy as well and help businesses to stay in business longer.
Okay. Let's get into the education side of life insurance. How does one become a life insurance agent?
All right. Well, you just got to contact me first of all, because I've been in this business for 11 years. So do you coach people? Or do you have a mentorship program that can help those who want to get into the industry? Tell us about your program and your mentorship. All right. So I do have a course. So for all agents, even if you're an agent, it doesn't matter what IMO you are from. Like, I've been in the industry for 11 years. I can teach you the roadmap on how you can make your first 6 figures or excel your business to make multiple 6 figures. That course, you can hit the link in my bio. It's on sale for $497. And then I do have a course where I mentor people one-on-one. So if they're interested in getting into that mentorship, they can have the opportunity to do so as well.
Oh, okay. Now, most people have 9-to-5 jobs like we talked about earlier. And they have an employer insurance plan.
Yes.
Tell us the difference between what it is, the plans that you offer versus the regular 9-to-5 person who has their job employer plan.
Yes.
So they're like, why do I need her plan when I have a plan?
Great question, because first of all, you need to own your own policy. Your job, if you have benefits through your job, they own that, and they're giving you 9 times out of 10 just an accidental policy. So that means that you will have to pass away of an accident to even get the benefits, right? But when you have a policy outside of your employer, you actually own the coverage. You're able to get a lot more. You know exactly what you have, and you can get those living benefits that your family actually needs.
Okay. So which plan do you recommend for entrepreneurs and, just business people in general?
Well, Key Man Insurance.
Most of them want the index, or do they want...
It just
depends.
It just really depends. But I strongly suggest, of course, for solopreneurs and people who have businesses, if you have a business partner, you need to get Key Man Insurance. Y'all need to get in coverage on each other, because now y'all are literally in a marriage within this business. So if something were to happen to either one of you, then you can, still run your business. Because if your business partner passes away, or if one of y'all gets sick, you'll receive a huge lump sum to continue to, work out your business and get it to that level that you needed to get it to, or wanted to get it to, whatever your vision was.
Right. And you mentioned the name. Explain that again. You say Key
Man Insurance.
Key Management.
Yes.
Exactly. What is that?
Exactly. So Key Man Insurance is, okay, if me and you had a business, right? We got this podcast business, and we put so much money into it. It's like $500,000 to $1 million plus. That means that I would get a policy on you for $500,000 to $1 million, and then you would get a policy on me, because we understand that we got monthly bills, we got these investments, we got this debt that still needs to be paid off. So if something were to happen to you, you're not worried. And if something were to happen to me, I'm not worried. In our business, we can still push on and get to that vision. If we need to replace our old business partner, we can do so successfully. So that's Key Man Insurance. But then you could do term with that as well. And then also the living benefit aspect too, because as solopreneurs, we do not have the benefits that we used to have working in corporate. So it's our responsibility to get all of these benefits, from dental to life insurance to et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes, because if we're working on our business and we're new, we're trying to make money.
Yeah, we are.
So I'm forgetting that I need to get all these benefits. I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm tunnel vision, right? But when you have a policy that has living benefits that protects you in the event of heart attack, stroke, cancer, end-of-stage renal failure, major organ transplant, ALS, blindness due to diabetes, or paralysis, or if you get into a car accident and you can't dress yourself, eat, bathe, a whole bunch of series of things for a period of 90 consecutive days, you'll get a huge lump sum, which will help you to continue to run your business successfully.
Right, definitely. I don't even think a lot of entrepreneurs knew about that type of insurance.
They didn't.
You definitely dropped a gem in here today with that.
Thank you.
It's my first time hearing about it.
Good.
So,
that's my mission. That's my mission. Thank you.
Yeah, you're definitely educating us here today.
Yes.
And I want y'all to definitely take notes. When is a good time to review your insurance policy? A lot of people have had theirs for 10, 15 years, and they just got it stuffed in the dresser somewhere and hadn't looked at it in years.
Yes.
How important is it for anyone, entrepreneur or not, to review their insurance policy?
Yes, you need to review your policy. Me as an agent, I typically follow up with my clients every 6 months to a year, because I understand that things change. So when things change in your life, like you get married, you bought a new house, you just had a child, you got a new business, that means that your insurance needs have changed as well. So that's when we need to reassess things. So it could be 6 months to a year, or as soon as something changes, you contact me. You need to review, like, okay, is this still enough? Are we properly covered here? So anytime a change happens, that's when you need to review your policy.
Okay. And anything else? I want to touch on this. Okay. Someone sent me an email. I was watching a crime show.
Okay.
And an insurance policy paid off. This person did something crazy to one of their family members just to collect the insurance money. So tell me, how does the life insurance company evaluate a criminal incident that has taken place whether to pay off on that insurance policy or not?
Okay, so
I know that's a totally different situation.
Yeah, it's okay, but typically, all right.
So this person got like $100,000 and they blew it all on Gucci, Prada, shopping, and all this kind of stuff.
So are you saying that they got the life insurance policy on that person and then they did something,
No, the parent had the policy and the policy paid the child. But I guess the parent had the child on the policy.
The parent had the child
on the policy, but the child committed the crime against the parent. And
like killed the parent?
Yeah, and ended up getting the money.
That's crazy work.
Right, yes. But then so how does that work? I mean, how do they determine?
That's a sticky situation. So it's like, okay, so there's usually a 2-year period to where as though if anything, the insurance company can investigate the situation within the first 2 years. So if somebody lied on their policy and said, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that, within that first 2 years, if anything looks like suspicious, they will not pay it out at all. But then after that 2 years, it's like, okay, like it gets paid out. So yeah, they got a 2-year contestability period. Because a lot of people ask that when it comes to like suicides. If like I get a policy and I kill myself, it's like, no, there's a 2-year contestability period. You cannot lie on your policy, and then if you pass away and they see something that was falsified, they're not going to pay you out. But after that 2 years, you're kind of free to go.
That answers the question. A lot of people want to know that. You'd be surprised.
Absolutely.
What were some of the challenges you faced in starting your agency that you had to deal with in the beginning to get it going?
I feel like for me, it was my mentality and having a transitioning from an employee mentality to actually working for myself. Right. Like I had to keep in mind there was no boss telling me, Bree, you got to come in at 8 o'clock and we need you to do this, we need you to do that. So it was more so me staying disciplined and just respecting my schedule. Because you have so much freedom and flexibility as an entrepreneur. It's like, oh, I could wake up when I want. I could spend this much money. I could travel when I want. No, you really have to take everything that you've learned working a job and implement it in when you become an entrepreneur as a business. You need to stay disciplined. You need to have a schedule. You need to have structure. And sometimes you got to work a lot more in the beginning so that you can work less later. So I feel like that was my thing. Everything is like microwave instant success, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm ready to work less and travel now. It's like you gotta have the patience to get there. So that was my whole thing, the mentality.
Okay. And to kind of close us out, what are the top 5 things that people can benefit by having life insurance?
It's so many.
It's more than that.
Man, it's so many. First of all, life insurance is a love letter to your family. So, of course, if you really love your family and you want to leave behind way more than what your parents and your grandparents left behind, then you can start a legacy with that. 2, of course, because, with the living benefits, you will be able to not only help your family to keep food on the table in the event of a critical, chronic, or terminal illness. You can help yourself, because I survived breast cancer. Like I was able to utilize my $1 million policy and receive a nice lump sum to help me take a step back from my business, but still be able to live. Right. So that's another thing. The third thing, it just depending on what type of policy you get, like you can literally borrow from your own policy to start a business, invest in whatever dream that you have. Let's see, we on number 4. For your kids, you can start a policy for your kids while they're young, and the premium will be super small, because we have to remember that life insurance is predicated on how old you are. So if you start a policy for your child and they're 1 year old and it's like $25,000, $100,000, whatever the case may be, that's only going to be $10 per month, which is huge. And then, of course, if you're working a job, the 5th reason is if you work in a job like we touched on, it's important to have benefits outside of that job, just in case anything were to happen, and to get properly educated, because the worst time to find out what you need is when you need it and you find out that it's not enough or what you thought you had.
That's true. That's facts. Yeah, that's true. Any advice for anyone, entrepreneur that wants to follow in your footsteps? What would you advise them to do if they want to have their own insurance agency?
Well, I would strongly suggest getting a mentor. Having a mentor is like having a GPS system, right?
Okay.
So when you have a mentor, they can help you navigate, so you don't blindly do things. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I would say get next to somebody, learn from somebody that's doing what you want to do, and they're at the level that you want to be at, because they can help you through that. There are so many common mistakes that agents make, and they don't understand. Then they want to say, well, this don't work. I wasn't successful because X, Y, Z. No, just get with somebody, even if it's not with me, and then you'll be able to reach the level of success that you want to.
Okay. And how much is your coaching program or your mentorship, or do you have any ebooks or
I do have an ebook just going on basic fundamentals, like when it comes to life insurance, to help people understand the different policies that you have, which is $17. My mentorship is $39.97, but with that, literally that is nothing compared to the amount of money that you make, because as an agent you can make $1,000 or more in less than 30 minutes. It's crazy. So you're going to make all that back, and plus you'll have access to me one-on-one, so that I can help you. I'm holding your hand and teaching you everything that I've learned over the past 11 years and what to look out for, teaching you scripts, presentations, etc., helping you master the art of getting referrals successfully. So it just comes with so much. And then of course I have a self-paced course. If you don't want to do that, you can get my course, which is $497, and all of them have payment plan options. So there's really no excuse for you to get from where you are to where you want to be.
Right. And how many clients do you currently have?
Oh my God, thousands. Thousands across the country. Yes. With me being in the industry for 11 years, I literally started out with a list of 30 people, like close friends and family members, but I mastered the art of giving a phenomenal presentation and getting referrals at the end. So those 30 has just multiplied like to thousands and thousands over the years, which has helped me to organically grow my business. I never really got into ads or did podcasts like this until recently, and I've been successful the entire time.
Just been strictly word of mouth?
Yes, strictly word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Because when you got something good, people gonna talk. We understand that,
And how are you paid off of, how's the inner work? Is it on an automated system? Or I know people automatically, take deductions out for their insurance policy every month. How does that work? How do you keep track of so many thousands of people?
Well, yes, I have a book of business. I have a CRM where everybody is there. I got some automations going on, and I just make sure that I have a really good really good relationship with my clients as well. Like literally, my clients become family to me. I'm going to barbecues. I'm going to because I really care about them, and then they can feel that. So that's why they refer me to a lot more people. But I have an automation system.
Okay. All right. So walk us through it. A person pays the $39.95. You take them from zero, knowing nothing about the industry, to having their own agency.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I teach them everything. It depends on if you want to be an independent agent or if you want to be captive with a broker. You can do that. So I've been on both sides of the field, and I can show you the pros and cons to both of them.
All right. There you have it. Yeah. Give them your contact information. How can they reach you? You
can reach me on Instagram at Brianna Kayla J or Legend Life Financial. And that is Brianna Kayla on all platforms. So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. Just reach out to me. I'm here for you guys.
Is there any other current developments? What are you looking forward to 2025?
I'm looking forward to, like I was saying,
a couple of your goals.
A couple of my goals. All right. So like I was mentioning with the cash flow quadrant, I've been able to successfully navigate from employee to investor, utilizing the financial service industry in my business. So I started to invest into properties, so to get my money to make money for me so that I can retire, but before I'm 40 and get my monthly recurring revenue up to par. And I'm looking forward to helping other people too. Women, men, whoever is just looking for a way to get from where they are to where they want to be a lot faster. I just want to help a lot more people. So that is my goal. So if you're tired of like your situation and you working 60 to 80 hours and you're spending a lot of time away from your family, like what's really, really important, and you want to make it all make sense, then you might want to take a look at the financial service industry, because you can work a lot less and make a lot more. It's all about working smarter and not harder. And that's what I want to get people to understand and realize. Jobs are not your end all be all. So get at me. I can help you out.
Okay. Thank you for coming on the show today, for being my special guest on Streetpreneur Podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me.
We learned a lot about insurance. You definitely dropped a lot of gems and notes that we didn't know or wasn't aware of in every situation. And I hope my listeners out there learned something new today, as well as myself. And people are definitely going to contact you for mentorship, I'm sure. Or if not mentorship, just to get a policy.
Yeah, get a policy. Let's review your policy. Let's make sure you got what you really think you have. And let me help you out with that for sure.
All right. Make sure you all subscribe, like, and share. And definitely look forward to us on our next episode of Streetpreneur Podcast. And keep doing your thing. Stay faithful, stay humble, and stay working. Thank you.